We're here in Ottawa for the 2013 Cycling Canada Annual General Meeting, talking with Tolkamp, who's just been elected for his second term as the president of the association. John, can you give us sort of an overview of 2013 and also what are some of the challenges and expectations moving forward to next year?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. 2013, I guess, was coming out of the Olympics is kind of a reset year. We redid our strategic plan and we've put that in place, and quite an involved strategic planning process where we consulted with many different stakeholders and actually went outside of the cycling organization. And the plan is in place now. If people want to look at it in detail, there's pieces available on the internet, and that's the focus. A lot of it is geared towards high performance and obviously what we're going to try and deliver in terms of medals and results in Rio. The big thing for 2013 really was putting in place the new staffing structures at the office. With the support of Own the Podium and Sport Canada, we've added 5 brand new positions and we restructured. So we've now in the office a staff complement of about half a dozen or so. They're actually living in the Ottawa office. And this brings for us a lot of new exciting capacity. For me particularly, I'm really excited in terms of the development capacity we brought on board, the ability for us to service the provinces, for us to do more work with the development athletes, and to really add some capacity at provincial level, work with up-and-coming riders, and I think that's going to bear fruit certainly in the long term. Some of that will come to bear fruit, I think, in Rio, but more likely in 2020 as we go forward as well. The other very exciting thing for us that we have is the actual construction of the Milton Velodrome. We've actually got concrete and steel in the ground. The trusses are going on, the roof trusses are going on, and we look forward to the actual track going in and being operational a year from now. So we look forward to a grand opening, test event, and national championships next year in the Milton Velodrome. So that's a very exciting prospect for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other things that stood out for me was, the revenue budget for Cycling Canada has increased dramatically, $5.2 million, which is a significant increase from, not too many years ago when it was hovering around $1 million or $1.5 million. And the other announcement that you now have a accumulated surplus of roughly $500,000. So can you speak a bit to that, how the association has really sort of become, I guess, well-funded?
Yeah, I think that's been one of the things that I look at. One of the key points in my first term as president, we've actually been able to almost double the revenue. We're up to over, like you say, over $5 million a year for Cycling Canada budget. The fact that we've had now 6 years of surpluses, and we've had a very disciplined approach to making sure we built up a surplus. And now that we're getting to the $500,000 mark, we're actually, we see one of the positive effects of that is there's always been cash flow issues, and we've always had to dig into a line of credit, and there's costs for that. So we're at a point now where we don't have to do that, and we can actually start to think about that the excess revenues, the surplus that we built up, how we're actually going to invest that, so we can actually generate that. And we're now doing an analysis in this year is actually to what kind of a surplus we should really have. We're going to look at kind of our fixed costs and what we need to, if catastrophic failure would happen financially, how much do we actually need to kind of sustain and wind up operations from that perspective. But it's certainly starting to give us more flexibility. That being said, the funding that we've got is really come on the backs of Sport Canada and Own the Podium, and they've been great partners. But that comes with its own programs, and they're very prescriptive in what we are able to do with that. So for me, in my next term, one of the big things I want to look at is really growing the discretionary funding, continuing to grow the revenue, but getting dollars that aren't so targeted, that we have more control over, to focus on things like development, supporting our riders. It's a shame for me to see some of our top-level athletes having to go to find jobs either on the road teams, and we can't keep them on the track per se, or actually having to leave the sport because we can't fund them. So those are some of the things I'd like to look at as we go forward to diversify the funding. And as well, we're looking at kind of 2 avenues there: the corporate side, the sponsorship side of it. But I also want to take a hard look at something like a foundation and personal donations as a way to really drive and increase the discretionary funding that we have available for cycling in Canada.
Okay, thank you, and I guess we'll pick this up again next year and find out where things stand.
Thank you, Rob.